Chonzik, we talked about it previously, but Chonzik is still playing. You haven't seen Beast Tail once, and Chonzik said that he wasn't even going to be playing for Fusion Unity for a while because of ping. So unless he's somehow made it to the States in a very quick time, it's just an odd roster when we've seen Beast Tail so much.
I mean, Tucker just called up the Comcast lawyer and said, I need the Visa ferry, and I need the ferry now.
I mean, he could do that. There's one man that can call up the Visa ferry. It is Tucker of Fusion. See Fusion Unity actually making this rotation here onto the left flank. They're going to be moving to the high ground, probably not approaching directly to the point, and Karkar's picked. Immediately
down. It's a nice pickoff from Montreal, and now inside the Feast, where they move on over. You don't want to overcommit into the room. It is possible for that to backfire, so you want to harass, keep them trapped in there, but also not give anything free away.
Definitely not overcommit. And when we're on the topic of how Shriek feels comfortable with Ryan and Winston, Chonzik has been primarily a Reinhardt specialist. Not a lot of Winston's play on his own, even known back in Korea as exclusively Reinhardt. That's why he was a sub player. He wasn't really, that much of a Winston player.
Shriek gonna jump on over, built the Primal very early, and this is just ideal for Montreal, where they have the Primal for the first real fight because of the early pickoff, and now Shriek looking for either an early pickoff or knocks someone off. Of course, for Gita, the one he's looking for, and Stillo's down. No one can help Stillo, and not gonna be able to armor pack yourself.
Yeah, no rally, and you can't armor pack yourself, like we talked about. They're gonna use the bubble, he's gonna drop his own, continue to pressure, just back up, doesn't want to overcommit. So early Primal, which is your goal. When you're playing this Winston against the Reinhardt, your goal is to get that Primal fast. Get that damage on the rotations, and then get one pick.
And I mean, to that point, Montreal already building already taking a minute and a half off the clock. Shriek going in, getting super low, lucky to stay alive, but walks away with a lot of ult percentage as a result.
Nice 80% to grab, a little bit ahead of Logix here. The Goliath has the trance. See the rally use. They might look to pressure the backline here. They do. They force Goliath the trance.
Yeah, he had the transcend real early. Nice. Drops the grab pretty early after out. I think he could have been able to hold that for a little bit while longer, but it still works out. The grab sets up the bomb. And Fusion Uni gonna be taking point A. Not a bad defense though from Montreal. Getting 2 minutes off the clock. I'd say it's about middle of the road.
Not a bad defense, but it could have been a lot better. They should have recognized the split that was happening between their backline there. Goliath and Logix were just so cut off from the rest of the team. He couldn't escape. He's in. He's not very fast. They needed to recognize that earlier. And the real problem is they move into the last year. There's no Transcendence Alarm up, and Alarm still has his. Now, Logix will have grab, so his goal here is to remove Alarm Transcendence.
And Logix, of course, also going to have a pretty good vantage point here for the grab. But, it's been a pretty hungry game for Divas here. Divas been starving. This would be a great time for Bernard. Again, Logix's face. Deal with the grab. Go from there. Logix is going to drop the shatter early. Shriek down, and the grab's eaten! Bernard finally gets to eat. Takes the grab away. And Fusion Uni, they're down Chonzik, but they still have good odds of taking this point.
Extremely good odds. There's no ults from Montreal. They see these stagger kills coming out. There won't be a high charge Zarya. And Bernard did exactly what you talked about pre-fight, where he went to Logix and he sat on top of Logix the entire fight. He didn't give him the space, and if Logix wanted to set up the grab, Bernard was right there watching him.
Logix was his own personal breadline, and his bowl was empty.
His bowl was empty. Fusion Unity take a very fast second cap there. Sure, their trance came out a little too late to save Chonzik, but that's fine. They'd already controlled the point. They'd eaten the grab. They didn't need the trance anymore. Little under 5 minutes, essentially 5 minutes for that first cap for Fusion, or for the second cap. Montreal have a big time bank to work against here. They're looking at that. They know they have to probably build a roughly equivalent time. You don't want to be extremely behind with those time banks.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think for Montreal, if they can get something between 3 minutes and above, they'll be fine. Anything lower than that, and it starts becoming very, very suspect unless you just completely dominate the opposition.
Montreal do need to learn some lessons from that. Logix is one of those players where when he's on, he's on. And when he has the space, he will abuse the space. But like we just saw previously, Bernard's not going to give him the space. Fusion Unity will not give him that space. And it's not that he's been quiet in the series, but he has not been the impact maker that he often has been on other teams. Because when he's allowed to be the impact maker, it's tough to do anything.
Tend to agree. I mean, actually, the weird thing about Fusion Uni here is that it's been a very team effort, more so than the norm, where I would be hard to point to anyone as playing bad for Fusion Uni. I mean, obviously, it's 1-1 and they just had a very good attack here, but it hasn't been the typical setup where you see Alarm and Bernard just constantly popping off and being the heroes for Fusion Uni on a regular basis. It's been more even keel than the norm.
Now Montreal So Montreal going to be on the offense here. You see Fusion Uni putting alarm on the Ana here again. They've been playing it a lot for these defenses. We've seen a lot of teams utilizing Ana because they want to play slow. They want to build that nano first and then engage.
Fusion Uni just hanging out on top right now. Still not a bad spot to hang out on. It's a little bit awkward for the team to dive in on effectively, especially when not running Winston. Although, as I say that, what does Sharik do? They see the position, they go Winston.
And it's also not just because of the positioning, it's because of Ana as well. A lot tougher to burn through this Winston.
Oh, Johnson moving in, looking for a good ult build, and gets it, 35%.
That's a 5-man ante. They're going to have to wait a little bit.
So they're holding back here, gives Johnson time to reset, time to get his leap back on cooldown. And what's he going to do? Montreal's going to head on out, and he's just going to electrify everyone as they move together and likely get up to about 70% at a minimum. And no, actually not in the right spot. And Montreal kind of catches Fusion University a bit off guard, but look at the pressure. The gods are going to get the DMAC.
They catch the DMAC, but they can still win this post fight with the Discord, with that damage they've had and the cooldowns they forced. They need to win it before Alarm gets nano boost, though.
Montreal looking for a way in right now, and Johnson down. Both Winstons out of the fight. Fusion Uni starting to grit this back. They can pull this back even down a main tank.
Out the main tank, their health was just overall better. It's one of the advantages as well of the Ana is that you sustain for longer. If you're able to just survive that initial engage and don't lose anyone early to burst, you will sustain a lot longer. Your cooldowns will have more value as you go on.
So Fusion Uni still holding in the same general spot. Johnson gonna have Primal up to the next fight with one more good round of attack and assault. Montreal in a rough spot right now, already 2 minutes off the clock, and this fight is not guaranteed.
So they get a little haze damage there, jump back, the nano is up, but Goliath also has the Transcendence, which means this grab will not be quite as strong because Bernard has bombs, so they can follow up.
And see the rally come up here from Naga. Montreal Rebellion just slowly moving over here, the points. Fusion Uni, though, holding on a big ult bank. Chunsik, Primal Rage built up, Nano Boost involved. Fusion Uni just spacing out here on the point, keeping Montreal away.
God's still trying to build up towards that bomb. There is the grab for Nice. The Trance out.
Trance out, self-destruct over the top. Bernard gonna get Tensa. Alarm out of the fight, though. 5-on-5 barrier use here for Fusion Uni. Chunsik doesn't Primal in time!
He got bashed. He got bashed. Could not Primal. Quite unfortunate for Chunsik there. Got burst even through the barrier as well. So now Montreal, they're playing point, they're playing around Goliath, just burning these frags one by one. And there's a real possibility that if staggers happen, that a snowball is possible.
Very likely here. Bernard gonna go down super late in the fight, and if you're Fusion Uni, just get out. You've burned 3 minutes off the clock. It's a great point A defense. Don't let point B go for free.
They won't, all their spawns will be up in time as well. They'll be able to get out. Chunsik has the Primal, a little bit of extra delay on the field since Alarm. Swapping over to Zen is fresh. We'll have no Transcendence up.
And Chunsik's going to use Primal as quick as possible here because he really wants to swap over the Rhine. So expect this to just be a pretty aggro opening here for Winston in all likelihood.
And if God sees that too, when you see the Primal out, it's time to use your Demon Bomb as well. Demon Bomb is an excellent, just something to peel, and there's no shield, but Sharik already down.
Yeah, Sharik's already down. Chunsik, and over here to the back. Again, good disruption, and fully expect Chunsik here towards the end to just go back and swap Rhine.
Now they're trying to chase them, actually trying to catch Goliath. The flail, sending them out of harm's way though. Without a flail, Goliath maybe doesn't get out. So once again, a little bit of helpful displacement from Snillo.
Speed-wise would have been quicker if he just leapt off the edge and went Reinhardt. Assuming he is going back to spawn.
That's assuming that he's going back. I mean, Sharik is still on Winston, so he doesn't feel the need. Okay. Well, he is going to make the swap.
I feel like it's quicker if he just leapt off. Well, regardless. He is on the Reinhardt as expected.
He made his choice now. Montreal moving back in. They do still have the Transcendence. They're supposed to climb on their own to set up that displacement.
Went onto it for now. Nice. Holding onto the grab, moving over. Heavy poke damage from Fusion Uni. Tensa nowhere to go, and this assault just very discombobulated from Montreal, and Fusion Uni, they're going deep.
Montreal, they're just getting cleaned up here. They're having to leave. You see, they're just going to regroup. Get ready for the next fight. They will have combo for the following fight. They're getting close to the double support ult. The Fusion Uni do continue to build more time off the clock. Set up their own combo. They look forward to get ready here. Montreal, their goal here is to set up combo. Their goal here is to put combo out on the field before Karkar gets beat and deny Nice the ability to do his own.
And they certainly have the ults to do that. Shriek, meanwhile, going to be moving in. Primal after ready when necessary, and use it pretty early in the fight. Same with Transcendence from Montreal, comes out early, but meanwhile, Tensa down. Bernard's bomb get connected on the backside. And Montreal, they've invested quite a bit, but not going to get much in return. And do you think Shriek has stayed on the Winston too long here?
Shriek probably should make the swap now. He should definitely make the swap. They're not finding value. And worst of all, they invested grab, did not get trance, did not get anything out. They did manage to get combo, but it's going to be a tough time to win the next fight when you don't have a grab. Shriek just makes the swap, so you won't have the shatter anyways. Fusion Uni are still in firm control here.
I mean, I feel like this next fight for Montreal has very few scenarios where it works out. And then Fusion Uni, it's a one-fight game after that, and they're still likely have advantage. This is a really bad position for Montreal to be in.
Montreal beat in green here. If anything, they're looking to use Naga's rally as a way to force some ults out of Fusion Uni, so hopefully support ults too. Support ults is what their ideal ult throw move here. There's the rally out for Naga. They're moving on to point. They're trying to put the pressure onto Chonzik, maybe force his support ult here.
Rally's out early, Chonzik holding on back. Looking for the shadow opportunity, gonna find it. Putting Naga directly to the ground. Forces out the beat pretty early here from Montreal. Beat's gonna fade, but Chonzik ends up falling. They give enough life to Naga that there's still an opportunity for Montreal. The bomb to the back. Fusion Uni gonna shrug it off. They have to use the beat to stay alive. Alarm, hang on to Transcendence, but Montreal not doing a ton of poke damage here. Fusion Uni just stalling, waiting for Chonzik to get back in. But oh, if they lose Bernard, this is gonna be bad. The DMEC comes in. And I think the Transcendence has to come out for Alarm here. Karkar's down!
The Shriek down in turn, gets bashed, gets cleaned up. There's the grab for Nice. Can they catch anyone with it? The charge gonna come out. Is he able to catch Tinsa? Without Tinsa, without Shriek, they don't win this fight.
Fusion Uni, not only will they bring that back, but they bring it back in a very econo manner. Alarm just saying, no, I'm not gonna press by 2. It's not needed.
Alarm waiting very, very long and only having to trade the beats. So now they're in a situation, but he knows that he can't invest Transcendence until the grab is out for Logix, who, remarkably, as we looked at, has taken some time to build this grab, but he has to save it. He has to save for Logix's grab.
So Fusion Uni holding back, one fight away. We're going up 2-1 here. One map, of course, from the Grand Finals. And Montreal gonna invest here. Rally up early. Logix looking for the grab. Charge up, ready to go, but already Shriek is down. Alarm finally says, now it's time to pray. But it's a prayer of celebration. Fusion Uni up 1 already. Very healthy here. Bombing from God, shielded off, ineffective. Johnson's just gonna move forward, holding on to the shadows. This is a victory shatter.
They're trying to escape,
right now.
but it's done. If they run away, they're gonna die. They're getting staggered right now. That was last fight. These staggers come out. I don't think there's any way that Montreal can touch point.
No, not in the least. And Fusion Uni, just an iron wall here on defense. Really also just punctuated by very, very good ult economy. Never really wasting anything, making Montreal commit mistakes all the while. And that's going to be a definitive hold here on Volsky Industries as Fusion Uni goes up 2-1.
Maybe trying to make that Winston work for too long as they pushed onto second.
Fully
couldn't
agree.
find any value, couldn't get the displacement they needed from Shriek. Chonzik still just being, blocking tons of damage, getting shatters when needed. And when they finally swapped, they'd already lost so much time.
I do think it was one of those instances where Shriek, unfortunately, was valuing the Q key over the H key, which is suspect at best, where also, I mean, Primal, it's all right, but Point B Volskaya isn't exactly the best Primal point in the game. There's a reason why people will very quickly swap off to Ryan there, and, Shriek, I fully agree. I think he stayed on a bit too long.
They just could not find their momentum moving into second. So that is Fusion Uni picking up the second map. They are now up 2-1. Remember, it is 1-3, and they just need to get one more map to close it out. But we've seen miracles happen. The previous series, some would say, was a miracle for some. So there is always
for
hope.
others.
Nightmare for others. There is always hope for Montreal. Assault might just not be their game. But Fusion Uni have historically been pretty strong on Assault when, Control, obviously, their bread and butter, but they like Volskaya.
Yeah. And also, again, the hidden sort of metagame that isn't really apparent on broadcast, but Fusion Uni will talk to you all the time. Elk will sing about it to a degree.
He will.
His favorite topic is server choice, where that was not only Fusion Uni's map choice, it was also their server choice, and ping is a particular issue for them when they go to East Coast. So if we go into map 4 here, our escort map, and we suddenly see Montreal just absolutely doing super well and Fusion Uni slacking, well, what you can take from that is that's probably on East Coast.
East Coast, the bane of many people's existence. The bane of Fusion Uni for ping, the bane of ranked players for the various one tricks you find without there. So lots of reasons that East Coast can be both a blessed and a cursed word. We are getting into our 4th map of the series. Fusion Uni up 2. Montreal only contending their 1 map right now. And the problem we run into as well is that Control eventually we'll get back to Control. And Fusion Uni likes to play Control. They really like to play Control. It's that problem that has always been seen throughout regular season where, sure, if you take Fusion Uni to map 5, but now they're going to have Control. They're going to be at their final map of the series, something that they can just finish it out on a map type they're very strong at. And you need to worry about closing out before then. And it's not going to be likely for Montreal. They can't close out before then.
No, and the problem here, of course, like you say, it's the entire conundrum of Fusion Uni is that they're an incredibly strong Control team. I mean, the real shocker and the omen that Mayhem Academy was going to break their streak was Mayhem Academy beat them on Control. Now, unfortunately for Montreal, they're in the spot where even if they come back here in Rialto, they have to pull the Mayhem Academy and win on Control, which is easier said than done. Fusion Uni, for their part here, again, even though they have a knack for making every game close, they would love to get to the finals with a little bit less drama involved and not map 5. I think just for the general health of their coaching staff, which really should be checked for high blood pressure at this point.
Well, remember, they're hourly workers.
True.
They're hourly workers. They're clocking in and out, so the overtime, very important for them. They have to get those fat weekly paychecks based off the hours.
Just continue to drain Tucker's bank account. Except little did they know that it's infinite.
It's the only possible explanation here for why they take it so often to the map 5. Surely not that they're inconsistent or have ping issues. It's only because they're on the hourly wages.
You know, it's a bold system, but sometimes your players will do anything they can to extract maximum money. But for now, you're just tuning in. We are waiting for the players to get ready. Here in Rialto, it is going to be map 4. Fusion Uni up 2-1 in the series. Montreal struggling to stay in there. But for Montreal, even if they do lose here, there's a lot to feel happy about for them, where they not only made the series close, but also the late season resurgence. And sure, it would mean that they don't get a shot against the Atlantic Showdown, but given that this is their first season as an academy team, and they were able to readjust the roster and get as far as they did, not a bad look.
Yeah, I think that's the real narrative we have to look at. It's not just about being their first season in Academy making playoffs, but their first season in Academy and having an extremely rough beginning of their season and then bringing it back at the end and making playoffs. And potentially, what's looking like here, having a close game versus Fusion Uni.
Of course, the only thing that goes against that to a degree is just the entire part. You've had a close game against Fusion Uni, you say. So hasn't pretty much every other team.
True, everyone has had a close game versus Fusion Uni.
Well, we're going to get into it. It's Rialto. It's Fusion Uni here in the defense. Very likely on an East Coast server. Montreal Rebellion on the attack. We'll see if they can bring this to a map 5 as they go compete for a finals berth.
Fusion Uni holding close, going to be taking this first fight on the corner potentially, then just backing up, trying to get those cooldowns out as Montreal move forward. You're going to do the classic setup, I imagine, where you take high ground as well and rotate. Yeah, we're watching it right now. They're doing the setup for the high ground. Fusion Uni trying to bully Godzo. They don't want to give him the chance. They're running, they're chasing him. They're trying to catch him.
They're going for the full chase, and Montreal just going to rotate around that. And now we have the old classic. Both teams have swapped sides. Montreal is on defense. Fusion is on the attack.
It's actually a lot better for Montreal here because you see Gods now has the high ground. He's allowing him to get all this extra poke.
I mean, they ended up getting baited in the giving away some key positioning, and God's still laying in the damage on top. John's like in a real rough spot and finally goes down. And it doesn't matter that Goliath got the killing blow. That was all God's.
Shield pressure, so crucial there for Montreal. They had so much more shield pressure onto Chonzik there. We're able to break it. You see Gods even commit deep, uses boosters there. Now they're trying to get the stagger onto Bernard. They will get the stagger. This is going to be another stagger onto Nice.
Also, they got through one of the toughest points of Rialto with almost no effort. That was super quick.
Very fast cap there from Rialto. Logic's also ahead in the grab game. They're ahead in the rally game. They have ults for the next fight. They have something where they can just invest one ult and continue their snowball. They're in a great spot.
And in particular for this spot where if getting through that archway is the first hardest part, getting through this high ground here is the second. This point here on point B is where teams get held very often. It's one of the best defensive areas in the entire game. But Montreal is coming in with overwhelming ult advantage. Round top. To be used here early. Logic's getting one off it, and Sharik just able to swing the hammer. It's a full clean sweep, and Montreal's getting through the toughest part of Rialto here and now.
Great grab for Logix. Logix setting it up in a position where it splits Chonzik from the rest of the team. A lot of Zins are just pop trance, hoping that they're going to survive. But Alarm is one of those veteran Zins, and he knows that it's probably better just to save for the weakest test. He won't be able to save it.
All going to be used here. Shatter out from Johnson, but he's immediately down. The bomb from Gods just striking deep into the back. Point B, put a fork in it. It's done. Montreal Rebellion, speed running Fusion University right now.
And it wasn't even a free, neutral fight, a zero ult fight win for them. Fusion Unity invested ults, they invested Rally, they invested Shadow to not get anything from it. And Montreal with the setup from Gods, who puts that bomb in a great position and engages with it, able to clean up second.
Over 5 minutes left to get from point B to point C, where they've gone through the hard part of Rialto, and they have a boatload of time. Rialto going to be used here early for University. Bernard on the bomb setup over the top. Gonna be shielded off, and Johnson gets down again!
He commits his life trying to get the cleanup here onto the grab, but Tinsa puts out the perfectly timed beat. Now the cleanup happening again. They've used combo. They're getting cleaned up. They're moving on to last.
This is incredible. Montreal yet to lose a single fight here on Rialto. Fusion Uni in such a tough situation. They're gonna have double support ult here, Avast, but I don't think that's gonna be enough.
Double support ult versus what is soon to be the combo and the shatter. All they have to do is sustain, build, hope. Not going to even have the rally to allow to stay in.
Graviton ready, used early here by Logix. The combo ready. Sharik already takes out Chonsik again. As Montreal, a 6v5 situation. The hammer drop from Sharik. Puts Dice on the ground. Arma leaving up, gets Logix. Both teams losing Zarya. Montreal still in a better spot overall, but Fusion Uni and Aspawn hoping for the miracle. The Shatter coming down from Chonsik. It gets Gods on the ground. They might get the DMEC as a result, and they do.
They do the DMEC. They need better focus fire right now from Montreal. They have to win this fight based on focus fire. Everyone from Fusion is so low.
The bomb got Tensa!
Oh, the bomb gets Tensa. I don't think they're able to win this fight now. The spawns are too strong.
It's too much.
Unless Sharik commits Shatter. Unless he hits a
great
Shatter.
He goes for the Shatter.
He gets everyone.
Yeah,
he gets many people.
One. And it might be enough. Montreal, they're coming back in. Sharik gives his life for it, and they force up the grab from Dice on the other side, but the grab on the same note also lets Fusion re-solidify.
Okay, well, even the fight lasted an extremely long time. They weren't able to really get too much off of it, but they built ults. They built ults. They removed ults for Fusion Uni. There was no Shadow. They denied a lot of the value for that. There's no Transcendence anymore. No grab for Nice. So Montreal can move back in knowing they have double support ult. They're coming up on the grab. They should be overall ahead of Nice on the grab. They should know that. And they can be aggressive here. They don't have to worry about losing support ults to anything. They can use it to engage.
And think about it, Montreal, they had 5 minutes left. Now they're down to 3. Fusion has already made this a lot more tenable, even if this next fight doesn't go their way. We're gonna have the beat here early. Gonna hit everyone. Montreal moving in, Transcendence and Reserve. Just trying to use the support ults to bully the Fusion front line, but Fusion, they just back out, they pop a rally of their own. And Transcendence has to be used to save Sharik. He was about to fall in the middle. And you see Fusion Uni deal with the support ults, but now they have support ult advantage. They use the beat, and they're going to bring the fight directly to Montreal. They get caught by grab.
Logic, no, Logic tries to, he got zero.
No one got caught. I thought someone was around the corner, but no. The grab is totally whiffed.
They did get beat out of Karkar, so sure, I mean, the beat was used, and they used grab as well, but there's still plenty of ults left.
Snillo down, 5-on-5, Tensa down the other side. Alarm starting to pop off here in this map. Nothing to say about it. Shatter down from Johnson, gets nothing. Montreal starting to withstand. Alarm transcending, just trying to keep the last remaining members alive, trying to let the respawns come in, but Gods gets a spawn door. And eventually Fusion Uni out of people to touch the point.
And what looked to be a really tenuous, or if not just straight up bad engage from Montreal, they invest the beat. Fusion Uni have great peel, run away from the beat. They don't get any initial value, and they come back in for the re-engage, and Logic whips grab. Slowly but surely, their focus fire is a lot better. God's getting key picks when needed, and also the block shadow from Sharik.
Also, the interesting thing is that even with point C being a bit of a struggle for Montreal, you look back at how points A and B went, where Fusion Uni offered essentially zero resistance. This is still a very fast time for Rialto.
Yeah, the time is extremely good. It's not the fastest we've ever seen by any means. It's not the perfect, only snowball, no real fight wins for the opposing, for the defense type of push, but a fast time.
And now, considering what we're looking at here, I will say this. Chonsik got picked off early in a lot of the fights on point A and point B, and even to a degree on point C. to me, working without info, just knowing the history of the teams, that makes me think that he is still in Korea right now and still fighting some pretty high ping. That is my theorem on this. Of course, we can confirm later on, but I do think the server war is hurting Fusion Uni to a degree right now.
Which only brings into question, where is Beast Halo, right?
Who knows? I mean, milk current status right now.
That just brings into question if you're worried about that, and it's something that's been expressed by Chonzik himself on Fusion Uni. You know, what is the reason for that? But obviously we don't have the answers right now. Because remember, Montreal is they picked the map if they're the loser from the previous map, so they picked Rialto. They're feeling confident they probably picked the server as well because of it. So Fusion Uni on the offense here, Montreal on the defense.
Uni just moving on up. Montreal going to be just exchanging light poke here, waiting until they turn the corner. And why is it the team sometimes hold this far back?
Realistically, the corner hold is a lot stronger hold than holding further up. There's less angles for you to get flanked by. You really just have to worry about street and high ground. And if you control them much easier, then you can control all the various angles when they're much further up.
Fusion Uni gonna head on over to the high ground. Montreal back in the courtyard. God's looking for a little bit of displacement, getting back to that corner spot that was so effective for him on the attack. And Bernard says, let's dance, and God says, let's not.
I mean, God's backs up. He just waits for some of the poke damage to come out of Bernard, and then re-pushes when his boosters are up. Force him back. Now he owns high ground. Bernard's still kind of low.
Look at the pressure on the Chonzik! We saw this on the flip side, and Montreal's able to do it again. Gods gives up his mech for it, but that's very worth.
Very, very worth there. God's, you know, not just winning the poke game on the Diva War with Goliath, but also coming back in, committing his mech to remove Chonzik.
Let's get you healed up.
God's, you know, he's slow this series. He hasn't always been making some of the crazy plays we've seen earlier with Second Wind earlier in the season, but he's been, I think, waking up as well as the series went on. He's been being much more impactful.
Fully agreed, and now we're gonna see Fusion Uni come back over again. A minute and a half already burned off the clock. Gods gets back into his mech.
He's back in mech. Trance is up for both teams, but Logix does have the overall advantage, but knowing Montreal, knowing how most teams engage, they'd rather use rally first. They'd rather Naga use the rally, try to remove ults from Fusion Uni, maybe get a pick.
Fusion Uni very much taking their time. Naga, though, almost down. That had to be alarmed. Nuclear strike from below. Snilla, though, down. Isolated early. Montreal up 6 on 5. And now they're just going to take the fight to Fusion Uni on the other side. And Karkar down. Montreal can go pretty deep off this.
Gods loses mech here again, but already 53% gonna get mech in time for the next push. He will get mech in time for the next push. Get some extra poke. The rally coming out, just like I was talking about earlier, where you would much rather use rally first than anything else, especially in a relatively ult neutral fight.
So you take a look, Fusion Uni, the next fight, a fight that by all rights they should win, but if Montreal fights this close enough, they'll get another fight on point A.
I mean, it's so easy to recontest this first here for Rialto. The spawns are so close, able to get across the bridge. There's the rally out for Silo, trying to set up the engage.
Round drawn out early, gonna be answered by Transcendence. Montreal gonna make Fusion Uni invest everything here to try and take this fight, while still trying to win it on their own. Barrier and Transcendence have been both been used for Rebellion. Shatter in from both Reinhardts, but Naga gets the worst of it. Down he goes. Man advantage here to Fusion Uni. Bomb out from Gods, not gonna connect. 5 on 6, and for Montreal, this is a little bit dangerous. You want to take the fight and die.
I think they're leaving. Look how they give the bubble as well to God so he can get out. They're actually totally out, waiting for their spawners. Gonna set up this next recontest.
That was so dangerous. If they'd staggered even one more, it would have compromised the integrity of the final fight here, but I think it's actually going to work out very well for them.
The onus is really going to be on Logix and Goliath here, to where they need to build these ults. They know they should know Karkar has beat, and they need to get somebody to remove it. They need somebody to remove the beat and set up a fight win condition.
So Montreal back up to a full 6. Fusion Uni, final attempt here for point A to avoid a map 5. Montreal hanging back. Barrier going to be used here by Fusion Uni off the engage. Answered by the rally from Naga on the other side. Sharik in danger, stunned early on. Layered support all. Goliath in Transcendence. Transcend out on both sides right now. Logic's grab thrown out. Here comes Sharik with the shatter, knocks down 3.
Can they clean up though? Because Nice has the peel grab, is able to put them out. They catch them on the corner, they clean up everyone. Nice grab. Having a nice grab.
Yeah. Can it be both? Can we just combine a nice grab?
A nice grab.
But on the same note, Montreal just completely drained the clock. And now they have the possibility of reestablishing on, again, the best defensive point in the entire map here on point B. They're making much better time than Fusion Uni did.
Did more than just drain the clock. They've also build up to several ults of their own, and since they know there's no grab for Nice, they can be a lot more aggressive. There's no support ults either, there's no Car or Alarm. Neither one of them, they should know, does not have ult. So they can set up to take a fight aggressively, remove ults, and build up their own.
Here on the card, Snillo. Early rally. Fusion would love to speed run this particular part of the map. Goliath already down. And this is so big for Fusion Uni. Rebellion unable to get a solid engage here. And look at Fusion Uni just speed through this part of the map.
Only the rally used there for Snillo. Fusion Uni recognizing that Montreal wants to try to delay as long as possible and just take the aggressive engagement there, knowing they have rally ad. So now Montreal have to move back in. I imagine the bomb is going to come out for Dodds at some point. And, well, Naga's already down.
He had to do that. They had the Martyr just to get the delay on point because of how decisive Fusion Uni was in the previous. And instead, Montreal is just feeding right now.
Montreal not able to contest effectively there, but look at the time they still have. Because of that strong first hold for them, and they still had an overall slightly longer delay on second than Fusion Uni did, the time banks really aren't too bad moving into last, which is a much more defendable position, and they built up their ults.
It's still workable here for Montreal, but they end up giving up point B for free, which is a very big boon. Fusion University. Chonsik setting up the next fight with Shatter in reserve. And both teams taking it to a degree somewhat slow. Montreal not going for the full commit here just yet. I think Shriek waiting for the Shatter.
Chonsik, though, he's walking forward. He was trying to preserve shield, and he's just dead.
Well, guess what? Montreal, they can turn the tables the other way, immediately start running into Fusion University. And Fusion University, it's a quick retreat. They don't want to fight down Chonsik.
And because of that, their time bank is now already less than Montreal's. And Montreal has a full ult bank for the next fight. They have 6 ults.
Montreal is in an extremely good spot here. Even as Fusion Uni is built as well, this entire map likely to be decided by the next fight.
It's a 6 ult v 6 ult scenario there. We see the rally, we see the grab. There's the bomb.
Bomb's out here from Bernard. What's he gonna do? Montreal still pretty safe. The barrier keeping them alive. Gods finds Bernard before he can remech. It's 6 on 5. Bernard long gone. Barrier used for the remainder here. Fusion Uni. The Montreal holding strong. Gods still holding on to self-destruct. Can use it to hit them off on the retreat. If need be, Chonsik already down.
And the shatter from Shriek post-fight, keeping them on the ground, removing them from the ability to clean up their own grab. Now they're chasing the spawn, getting cleanup frags, and Montreal, this is their time.
And Fusion Uni, they suffered a Greece-esque economic crash there. It's all gone. All the ult charge gone. Nice might be able to build a grab in the next fight, but they are so drained for now a situation where they have to win not 1 but 2 fights.
They have to win 2 fights here, and Montreal are still holding a very defensible point and have huge ult advantage. Montreal could wait, build up their ults. They could just wait for their next grab and commit it here. They could just get their rally, walk into them. Their ults overall are just so much stronger.
Fusion Uni just trying to build. I think Nice has to be their game plan here, just holding for the grab and hoping that Goliath doesn't have Transcendence on the other side.
Well, Goliath is very likely to get trans in this fight, already 85%.
Our card down early, Nice going for the grab. Goliath does not have Transcendence yet. Instead, they have to cover it with Shatter, Bomb, Gods, can't remech. The Montreal Rebellion now in a rough spot. Fusion Uni, they found the window, and they're looking to dive right on through it.
They found the window, but the grab was used. Goliath can translate, keep Shriek alive. You see the pressure onto Shriek so much. He's so hurt. Can he get out?
This is really good for Fusion Uni.
But now Naga's down.
This is extremely good for Fusion Uni. The fact that Goliath used Transcendence in losing fight, they're going to be staggering out spawn. Overtime spawns are in effect. It's going to take longer for them to even get out.
Not only are OT spawns in effect, Fusion Uni have they have Bomb, they have Shatter, 2 very good combos that work in synergy, and they have the Transcendence versus Logic's grab.
They have to go out and touch a point. Someone must be the sacrifice to the payload gods.
Gonna be Gods. Gods doesn't have bombs, so he's gonna touch. The rest of Montreal are there.
Head on out, grab talking to be used. Bernard, though, says, oh, that's an interesting setup. Here comes the bomb on the other side. Montreal able to survive, but just barely.
Wait, they can't touch!
Shatter in! No! And then it's gonna be a 3 down. They cannot get back to the payload. And Fusion Uni, it's a much slower time, but they still have hope. And remember, on Escort, time bank, it matters, but matters less than any other mode in the game.
Definitely not as strong, but I mean, look at the time bank ads. Look at the differences. 3 minutes for Montreal versus a minute for Fusion.
Remember though, if Fusion Uni, if they can just get a good early fight and build momentum, the difference in how quickly they'll be able to go through point B as a result can neutralize a time bank advantage. I do think Rialto, though, is one of the maps that's probably most impactful to be behind on time bank as far as escort goes. So I don't think Fusion Uni is in a good spot by any means. But I don't think it's the end of the world either.
It's not the end of the world. It's more of, I would say, if the time banks are a little bit closer, they're in a much stronger position, like we talked about. You just need to build up momentum. You need to win one fight and just move forward with that. But Montreal, because of their time bank, can afford, even if they get, have some unfortunate defense, on their offense, they have plenty of time to play towards essentially 2 win condition fights. Play towards a win condition for your first fight, win it, tank a couple fights, win it again, and your momentum will carry you likely past what Fusion Uni gets to.
It's a much more advantaged position for Montreal Rebellion, to be sure. It's where you can be a little bit gamey and how you alter your ult economy. You don't have to be business as usual. You can just take advantage of natural game flow. But Fusion Uni, not one to count them out. 45 seconds left, and already looking for an edge in the probe game, being certainly a bit more aggressive than we saw the last round.
And there's the bubble used on the corner for both teams. The Discord, though, on a Chonzik is going to back up. Now Fusion Uni rotate towards the high ground. They look to set it up here. Lee Bernard on card, he's going to be one to push. Montreal just still holding, waiting.
Well, remember what happened last time. Montreal was more than willing to trade off attacker and defensive positions. Let Gods get to the high ground. And they use that to take down Chonzik early. And again, looking for the focus fire, but this time, not as good. They find Logix pretty early on. Oh, that charge could have put, and it does! It results in Chonzik falling, but Shriek gets punched to turn. Fusion Uni, they have to be okay with this.
They may have lost Chonzik because of the charge. He goes in. His barrier was heavily pressured. But Montreal could not win the post fight. They couldn't get the cleanup frags. They will have the recontest here. And something to note is the ults are still good for Montreal versus Fusion Uni, and Chonzik is still coming back. He's not there yet.
Also, overtime spawns are in effect here, so if Montreal loses anyone here, getting back in is not going to be the normal point A advantage.
Blythe will have the trans, Shriek, Shatter as well. Shatter come out.
They're looking for Chonzik, he's down. It's going to be a long, long time until he's back in the fight. Fusion Uni down the Reinhardt. Montreal still a full 6.
I don't know why they aren't just pushing forward here. They're trying to catch one person.
They're in way too good of a spot right now. Fusion Uni, there's so little they can do. The bomb from Bernard has to be massive. It takes down Tensa. They've got 2. Still potentially winnable, but Long's down, and that's going to be it. Montreal. They're forcing Fusion Uni out. Chonzik goes to the emergency. Hammond, look how long it took for Hammond to come back here in overtime.
And right now, with Nice going down and Logic staying alive, Logic still hasn't even grabbed. There's the grab. There's the cleanup. Montreal have to be extremely happy. They have 3 minutes to just cap first.
It would take a lot to have a 3-minute hold here, though again, for Rialto, it's not impossible. It's probably one of the more full holdable maps in Escort, if not the most full holdable. I think Gibraltar is probably a little bit more, but debatable. Fusion Uni, though, you think back to how their first point A defense went, they're gonna have a pretty remarkable difference.
A much better defense is what they're gonna need. And it's not just have to be a much better defense. You can have one of the best defenses on first, but if the other team, all they have to do is cap first, and they have 3 minutes to do so, they know they can play towards a singular win condition.
The other thing that hurts Fusion Uni a little bit as well is that on their attack just now, they didn't quite get the payload directly into the area that's so ridiculously abusive for the defense, where you can use the doors to go back and forth. It's close, but that slight difference in where it is actually could have a very big impact on their defensive plans.
He's setting up here. They're going to play the corner again. They're not going to play with that aggressive first hold, because if you take the aggressive first hold and lose, even if you take the fight early, you're able to get it past the even stronger corner. So they won't engage there. They're going to just poke and then back up to there. It's already giving up a little bit of ground.
So Fusion Uni 3 minutes away from another finals appearance, or for Montreal, just 1 point away from bringing this to a map 5, where, oh man, Fusion University and map 5.
Where have I heard that before?
Sometimes you just gotta stick with tradition.
See, now they walk forward. They're trying to pressure Gods again. They're trying to do the same play, remove Gods, but Montreal are just gonna swap positions here again. They're gonna swap positions here again.
Montreal, look at this and look at the pressure on the Chonzik shield right now. Instead, switching the hammer swing mode, and guess what? Doesn't quite work out.
They did
2 already down for Fusion University.
Same mistake, ZP. I like that they look to pressure the D.Va that's left on cart, but then Montreal just flips. They just do the complete flip again. They're in a better spot. They're able. Chonzik then goes deep, and they're able to punish him for it. I would think they would have learned from last time.
So Montreal, they win the first fight outright. They still have 2 minutes left, and we are in one-fight territory for a very familiar situation, Fusion University being taken to a map 5.
One-fight territory and a fight where Montreal has huge ult advantage as well. Alarm is the saving grace for Fusion Uni. They can sustain from Alarm's trance, but Logic should get grab in between them.
Alarm's built up Transcendence here. Logic doesn't have grab here just yet. Problem is, Alarm does not get a payload. That got way too close for comfort. Naga, though, able to take down Chonsik. Already man advantage here, the Montreal Rebellion. Fusion Uni. And use the Transcendence super early here. Logic's the Graviton should just be the finisher here.
I mean, they're just chasing Alarm to the back line as well. They get that frag. There's the grab. There's the trance as well.
That's going to be it.
Cleanup. It's over.
Fusion University getting taken to a map 5 here in the semifinal. We go again.
We go again. Map 5. God's eating the grab for good measure. That is the cap. So Montreal, who have squeaked themselves into the playoffs, have taken Fusion Uni to the map 5.
Or the expected outcome.
Or the expected outcome, really. We've checked the script. That is required when you're in playoffs. When you're with Fusion Uni, you must go to map 5. It's part of their contract.
You know what? We did actually a little bit of research, and we found out that the normal script writers, they took a long-earned vacation at the end of the regular season. That's why we didn't get the usual script. That's why Mam Academy broke the streak. But they're back.
They're back.
They're writing the script here once again. And if that is actually the case, Fusion University should feel pretty good going to map 5.
I mean, especially if the theory that we've sort of theory crafted here is where the losers selecting their map and selecting the server. So the ping could be coming into play here for Chonsik as well. He didn't look quite as strong on that map as he did on Volskaya. So there's a very real world where the ping does come into play. And not only are we in the world where Chonsik's now potentially getting better ping, but we're on control.
Yeah,
Fusion Uni's home.
Yeah,
it's their home.
It's a Fusion Uni special. They have always looked the best on control. It's why Mam Academy beating them in control was so shocking back then. But, you know, the talk about Montreal is doing well. I mean, again, for Montreal, the reinvigorated tank line, Gods and Sharik continuing to prove their worth all series long. And also, we haven't really given too much attention to it because people might be tuning in and saying, oh, yeah, Logic's, of course, he's good. Logic's had a big slump for a while. He was not doing
even
good.
During this series, he's been kind of quiet at times.
Yeah.
He's picked it up more, but he's been quiet at times as well. So, and part of it is because Bernard does not give him space.
No. Bernard, of course, one of the more suffocating divas that you can have out there. But now, guys, it's going to be Lijiang that we go to end it all out. This is, of course, Fusion University's pick. So not only is it control, but in this instance, they get to bring it to their favorite control map. So this is a real test for Montreal. At stake, a chance to go to the finals, and not just a chance for the finals, but even if you lose the finals, you still go to that runoff match at the very end of the day tomorrow for a chance to go to the Atlantic Showdown. So winning here, very, very important.
Just waiting for both teams to get in. It is going to be Lijiang, our tiebreaker, control. And like you mentioned earlier, you hinted at that, this is Fusion Uni's favorite control. They consistently end up here and just win and look extremely good while doing it.
Meanwhile, of course, it is map 5 where, you know, maybe we should just edit the script a little bit. Sir, the streak is broken, but their streak of winning on map 5 isn't broken. There's another number there. I'm not sure quite what it is, but it's probably at least, 10 plus.
We've missed the most important stat of them all.
Yeah, everyone was focused on the overall match streak, but what about the map 5 streak?
Well, we will see moving on here. We've already had one of our predictions, broken because Mayhem Academy, they should have inherited the map 5 curse, the victory for map 5, but they didn't.
No, they just simply faltered.
But is that required for them to actually beat Fusion Uni on a map 5 rather than a clean series?
Yeah, as it turns out, they did not fulfill all the stand conditions to steal it in the end. So, it's what it may be. But instead, we are heading in here to Lijiang. What a day of games this has been so far. We've been casting now for about 3.5 hours straight.
We have.
And we still have 2 more matches to go.
And almost as importantly as that, nothing could quite be as important as the playoffs here. But my car was not hailed on outside. You can't see this here, but I've been checking out the window multiple times, and my car has not been hailed on. So good news all around. Good news all around.
I don't really wish ill on you by any respects, but if we're finishing up here talking about the thrilling conclusion of the game and suddenly we just start hearing hail come down,
I would be quite upset is what I'll have to say.
I would laugh a little.
I'd be very upset.
Well, our tour of Lijiang here is almost done. And the game is about to begin. Map 5, Fusion University. The old special.
It's something we've seen many times before. We are going to be on Control Center. Both teams, look at this. This is the Mei v Mei.
And both teams are good at running Mei here at Control Center, so whichever team wins this first fight is at an even larger advantage than normal.
That's what the Mei setup is all about. The wall is going to be so crucial for both teams. See that wall come out nice, a little early. God's putting the counter wall, splitting nice away.
And Goliath going to be down. Chonsik, though, down on the other side. Both teams bleeding a bit here. And it's 4-on-4. Both teams out of Reinhardt. And the Mei's striking deeply on all sides.
However, Alarm is still alive. Alarm is still alive. Alarm is a force to be reckoned with. You do have that Discord Rose, you do have that healing. Let's see if they can work around it.
Counter wall out. Both teams going to get reinforcements. And we go back to 6-on-6.
Wall drop for Gods there, so no wall for this next engage. You see that Chonsik is back. Sharik is back. There's the wall for Nice again, splitting, but the rotation comes out, keeps Sharik alive.
Montreal, they just walk forward for it and put Chonsik in a very tough spot. His shield is low, his health is low, and now he's gone.
And he loses Shatter.
Oh, the worst of all worlds there. And now here comes Gods looking for the wall to split. And as we talked about, when you're running Mei, winning first fight is incredibly important.
Slowly but surely, they just had a lot better focus fire again onto Chonsik's shield. The shield presence, the shield war here has been favored for Montreal pretty heavily throughout the series. So they hold the all-important choke point with their Mei. They're going to look to set up these walls to get the splits.
I got news for you. If Fusion University loses, they're going to be starting a whole new type of streak. It's going to be 0-2.
0-2, yeah, 2 losses in a row. That is a whole new type of streak for them.
Well, wall's going to be going on both sides. God's finds a rough spot. Graviton in. He's going to throw the Blizzard in for good measure. So every ult going into play in the middle here, but it's Fusion Uni that withstands the cold. And they're going to bring this right back over the point.
So they have broken the hold. They did have to invest their Blizzard. And they're going to get these cleanup frags. They're going to move towards the point. Goliath actually catching Alarm, who got the bubble, but it should still be clean up here. Now Fusion Uni will hold the choke, but they don't have Alarm. They need it. They actually will probably not set up without Alarm. So this makes it so much easier for Montreal to enter.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part, right? Where you're running the Mei, you usually want to be at the choke point, but because you're down people, you don't feel comfortable holding up the choke point, and thus, Montreal, they get a free ticket in.
Get a free ticket in, and Gods is forced to the Icebox, so they're going to be aggressive here. Gods can afford to be more aggressive. There's Icebox on the field, maybe look to punish. Nice. There's the grab.
Another grab coming out here. Pretty early build here by Bernard. Chonsik takes down Tensa early. Shatter coming in here from Sharik, but that's so big for Montreal. They use it to get another 2. And off of Sharik's hammer, Montreal has turned the tide.
Sharik, great play from Sharik. He was getting pressured by Nice. He was sitting on the flank, just tickling him with the left quick, trying to freeze him. And while it's happening, Fusion Uni weren't really worried about him. They're like, oh, he's going to get frozen. He's getting slowed down. And he just turns quickly, drops the Shatter, wins the fight.
Fusion Uni getting taken to task here, 61% to 33.
Logic has grab. Logic has grab, and he's going to use it primarily, almost always just to force support ults.
Yeah, and I mean, that is what's going to happen here. Alarm and Karkar, both up, ready to go. Nice. Alarm trying to rotate around. Barrier used very early here. There's the wall. And Alarm has to layer the ult on top to transcend to keep everyone in a good spot. Blizzard out. Nice doesn't do as much as he might want, but Logic's caught out. Alarm seizing the opportunity with 2. And Fusion Uni gonna fight on back.
No, that Blizzard actually did exactly what they wanted. It wasn't just the zone. It froze Sharik. And Sharik was frozen, could not block the Shatter. And then Chonsik, recognizing that, just drops the Shatter, gets the players on the ground. So even though the Blizzard wasn't, it wasn't sort of the flashiest Blizzard, it did keep Sharik without being unable to keep his shield up.
Gods, meanwhile, looking back in, see if he gets any form of split. Montreal's still in a good spot here. 50% for Fusion Uni.
There are no support ults for Fusion Uni. They have a Blizzard. This is definitely their time.
Montreal waiting for it. The wall out from Nice.
They need to be so aggressive right now. They need to be so aggressive.
There's going to be a wall advantage here for Montreal.
They have wall, they have Blizzard, there's no support ults. Go!
They're just waiting.
What are we waiting for here, guys?
Well, they're waiting for Sharik to use shield HP. I don't know, but finally they use the wall, they go in. Fusion Uni got back on out. Transcendence used here. Shatter out from Sharik, knocks 3 to the ground. And Montreal on the verge of taking the round away. It's 95% to 77. And I don't even know if Fusion Uni can hold here on the point. They get Goliath, but I don't think that's going to be enough. It's just Karkar trying to buy time. You have Bernard in off the flank.
They need to clean up these frags fast.
They do.
It's very unlikely they'll lose the fight, but just need to clean up fast just to guarantee it. There's the rally out too. Konzik is down. Army gets the Transcendence. He's there to contest, but it's still in favor of Montreal.
Montreal should be able to take this. And now think about what this means. We really have to talk about what this means because they're one round away from eliminating Fusion University.
And not just eliminating them on map 5 on Lijiang.
They break the map 5 streak as well.
While Mayhem Academy, who not only defeated them decisively, has lost in the reverse sweep to Legion. We're in an inconceivable timeline, potentially.
In the year, with incredibly impactful live events in the contender scene. If you would tell me that Fusion Uni would not be making an appearance at the Atlantic Showdown, I would tell you were crazy, that it doesn't make sense. A team of unparalleled excellence now might be falling. It's only one round separating us from that fate. But Fusion Uni, they're fan of reverse sweeps. The mini reverse sweep on Lijiang still very much a possibility.
You see Montreal rolling out here on triple DPS, has Logics on the Ashe here as well. Naga on the Pharaoh.
Oh!
That boop is pretty good.
Devastating from Naga. Gets Karkar off the side. It actually looked like he might have got more than that, but even just getting one from the early boop actually might not be enough.
Well, Goliath actually getting caught on the rotation.
Got
out of mech.
Yeah,
I mean, there's very unlikely they win this fight now.
Montreal misplayed and trying to take advantage of that, so with a good opening from Naga. It's not enough. Fusion Uni, they're gonna get first control.
That's definitely a scenario where they just needed to play slow. They had a Zen. They had the Lucio down, so a lot less speed, a lot less heals. They just could have played slow and just controlled the point, but they just overcommitted.
So Montreal gonna be swapping up. Down goes the Pharah, up goes the Zarya. But Fusion Uni now in a very good spot as they're just gonna rotate left and defend White Room.
Not only are they getting good cap time, they have double support already. They have the Nano, they have a rally. If they really need to be just extra bullies, they could just rally Snillo and then give the Nano too.
I think they're gonna Nano Chauncey. They want them to build up the Primal. And also, this is such a good area to get cleave on 3, 4 people at a time. Sharik already down.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of damage.
And also, he builds on our Primal from it. It's the perfect play for the situation. And Fusion Uni, as a result, not only going to be up 40-0, but Sharik is going to be in a good position to knock some heads in the next fight.
Fusion Uni win that fight, invest the rally, invest the Nano. You see Alarm actually goes back to spawn and swaps immediately. Knowing that they've invested the Nano, they're not going to stay on it. I think that's a really smart swap for Fusion Uni, recognizing that. So Montreal going to recontest here. Chonzek, no doubt, will invest Primal, trying to get some environmental kills on this choke.
Chonzek holding back. And he's waiting a long time to Primal. Just again, they're extracting max time until Montreal actually makes them have to use anything here. The Primal bit of the Graviton is eaten. Nice! Grab donated to Hear the Gods. Chonzek says, we try. Brings back, but instead he gets shattered, put straight to the ground from Sharik. And yet, despite these plays, Fusion Uni still contesting. They finally lose Alarm, and that's probably gonna be the difference maker. But if you're Fusion Uni, you're still pretty happy about this overall.
If you're Fusion Uni, you're happy about that. If you're Gods, you're even happier. Gods, that Gravity, even with the Primal, sure, it can be sometimes a little scary with all the environmental hazards, but Gods eating the grab means that they're much freer to invest the Transcendence, and they're much freer to just move forward and be aggressive. So Gods making a huge play there.
Fusion Uni, one fight separating them from forcing a round 3, the truly ultimate scenario, and where they tend to thrive. Next fight, though, not looking so great for them.
Not looking great. If anything, Montreal should know they have to play the old economy game here. They have to play super eco. They're going to use Rally to trade with Snillo, and then afterwards probably look to set up their combo.
Also, don't get near ledges.
Don't get near ledges.
Yeah, don't let Karkar just get a free boot. There's no reason for it. Make them take the fight.
That's
Goliath!
Eco. That's very eco.
That is extremely eco. That is we get to save everything. That's the IRA play.
So now, great work from Goliath. You really, anytime you can get the right click, just win the duel as Zen, and just take the fight immediately, especially against a Zen as strong as Alarm, you'll take it. So that could potentially be a round-saving play for Goliath, a game-saving play.
Montreal, as this has been going on, they've been able to build up ults of their own, so now this is something that both teams can invest in. Forward. Trying out Graviton in. Answered by the Transcendence. All ults out. An early shadow from Drake sets up the bomb. 3 blown up. because of the hammer from Sharik.
It was the hammer from Sharik, putting them on the ground there, setting up the bomb there, and really, this is bad for Fusion Uni. They invested combo, they invested rally, they invested transcendence, and they have no clear advantages moving forward. They have a beat, only a beat moving forward.
Fusion Uni, one fight away from being defending champions no more. One of the most tense situations they've ever been in as a franchise. This next fight is what it comes down to.
This aggression too, they forced the beat so early, they're gonna try to back up Montreal. They're trying to get Sharik out, they can't.
Sharik gone, unable to get away, nice. Finishing him off, Fusion Uni, not going quietly. It's like, no, Johnson almost moved off.
Almost moved off, and you see Montreal, they have to play so scared, but the shadow from Chonzik putting 3 on the ground, I think.
Fusion Uni gonna bully their way back into it. And remember, they were at 94%. Montreal, they have to somehow turn this. They drop a grab, but no one is there to fall through anymore. Transcendence merely gonna delay. Fusion Uni, they step up when it's needed most. Their season not over here just yet.
That was such a risky play for Montreal. That was the riskiest play I've seen in a while, where they hold forward to force the beat from Karkar to catch them on the choke. But they should know the beat is going to come up. The closer they hold, the more effective it is.
We've been through 4 maps here so far. We've been through 2 rounds of control. It all comes to head here on the night market. 1 round to decide it all. Does Fusion University continue to defend their title, to potentially bring it to Krefeld, Germany in the Atlantic Showdown? Or does Montreal, a team that barely made it into playoffs, that's found new life at the very end, do they complete the biggest upset of them all?
Not just the biggest upset because defeating Fusion Uni, but defeating Fusion Uni again on map 5. Something they do not lose on, have yet to lose on. When they lost to MAME Academy, it was not on map 5.
Chonzik moving out, same as Sharik, both Reinhardt's charging out to play. Poke war going really rough here for Fusion Uni. Chonzik lucky to stay alive.
Lucky to stay alive. He's getting constant discord, so much pressure on him. His shield's broken again. The shield pressure so good for Montreal. They managed to get Chonzik around the corner though. They saved this key for him. They can get him around. Montreal
consistently being good in these ult-neutral fights that are determined by Poke. They use that to rotate over. They're looking for the early advantage here on point. Fusion Uni, 3-on in, not giving up the early cap. But it comes at a cost. The poke war still being lost by them. Chonzik and Karkar very low, but they turn on Sharik. Sharik is down. Both teams down a ride. And Fusion Uni, they end up swinging the fight in their favor despite the bad start. First control to them.
The early rally for Snillo really impactful. The early rally making sure that despite their health being so low, despite their shield health being so low, they could move forward, getting it before Naga. That's the value of having to proceed to the build rally fast.
So Fusion Uni taking the all-important first fight. Montreal, though, they built pretty reasonably in that, so long as they take a little bit of time here, they should be able to fight evenly.
You see Montreal dropping. They know they have rally ad. They need to use this rally to force something. They have to be careful. Nice. They have to grab Goliath. He's on the other side.
He get there. He got LOS, the statue, blocking the Transcendence. And that is a disaster for Montreal, but an even better graviton from Nice to make that happen.
I mean, it was a great grab from Nice. Goliath just not thinking about the split there, but it's tough to think about the split of what grab just pulls you into there when you're in that situation.
Well, also, you have almost no time to react. Fusion Uni immediately went in off the grab.
So it's just a tough position to be in if you're Goliath, but like you talked about earlier, great grab from Nice, winning that fight there with the grab, removing the trance from the field. They've held onto the support ults, and Montreal's really their saving grace for this next push is going to be having a good combo.
Getting a lot of poke damage on the way in. Fusion Uni really stepping up in the neutral game right now. Shriek moving forward. Hammer at the ready. It saved them so many times before. The hammer comes in, puts Still on the ground. Chonzik dropping a shot on the other side. Not hitting anyone on Montreal. Montreal's still okay. Logica drops the grab. Here comes Gods on the bomb the other side. And it's not even needed. The fight over from the grab alone.
Right into from the combo. The delay still out there. Bernard coming back onto the point. Fusion Uni have gotten so much time on this point, and they got rid of just about everyone. Well, not just about everyone, but 4 ults for Montreal. They have time to take dry fights. If anything, they're going to move forward with the rally for Snillo and try to remove trance from Goliath.
Fusion Uni, all they have to do is remember their win conditions here. Play eco. Don't do anything dumb.
They really don't have to play 2 eco here, ZB, because they have double support ult versus the Transcendence, and they are also going to get their grab up.
Evie. Gonna use the rally here, still using it in part just because he was getting low. They're gonna move out. We'll see if they can get an ult here out of Montreal. Montreal instead just trying to give up space.
The pressure.
That's their currency choice. Sharik dropping the hammer, knocks down 2. They force a beat out of Fusion Uni. And Goliath uses Transcendence a little bit later in the fight. Around the same time as they grab with the grab. A bit later, it's not enough. They're gonna be able to take down Naga. And Fusion Uni, they're doing it here. They're getting back on the point. In Montreal, they're gonna be down to their final fight.
I mean, down to their final fight. They did remove beat, they did remove rally, they got grab as well. They absolutely need to get this beat. They need to move in. They need Logic's grab to be good. They played exactly as I thought the last fight where they didn't have to play eco. They had the double support ult. They could get the grab in the end.
Fusion Uni on the verge of another map 5 win. Montreal, their season, coming down to this final fight here. Sharik stunned early, under heavy pressure. They're looking for the pickoff. Sharik is going to be able to live. Gods ends up dying instead. The graviton in from Logix. But Montreal already mortally wounded here. The barrier out. They're not able to get much. Gods finished off. Chunks it down. Here comes a bomb from Bernard, looking to be the dagger. Does not quite connect. Look at Sharik. The shield pressure. His shield gonna be broken. Transcends in here from Montreal. Moving on in. Last gas for them. 5 on 5. Sharik, he's almost pulled down the shatter. The ground
needs
is in.
He needs a shadow right now.
He's down. Drops the shatter while down on HP. But it's not gonna be enough. The shield can only keep him alive for so long. Nice is melting them down. Fusion University, they've done it again. They've broken their own streak. They're no longer on the losing side. It's 1-0. And for map 5, they remain on top of the mountain. They're gonna be heading to the grand final tomorrow.
So close, so close. Goliath's trance, keeping them alive in that fight when Sharik's shield health was low, when the bomb was out, was crucial, was absolutely crucial. But Sharik not getting that shatter time, not having enough to zone from the post grab after the trance, that was it. That was the crux of the fight.
Super, super close. And, you know, I gotta say, Montreal Rebellion, fantastic showing nonetheless. Bringing Fusion Uni to the absolute limit. 5 maps, 3rd round. And the player that's most impressive to me, because I remember seeing Sharik way, way back in the day, one of the very original Overwatch players. His Reinhardt has come a long way. I think Sharik, regardless of the loss here today, he looked very impressive.
He did. I think the